you're struggling to take action or getting caught in analysis paralysis, or you don't want to do the wrong thing and that's what's going through your mind, then I would encourage you to consider adopting binary thinking. And binary thinking is both oh so simple and something that is designed to help you create action more effortlessly because you don't have to think about it very much. And I'll give a very simple example. So when I started my entrepreneurial journey, 13 years ago, I just quit my digital advertising sales job and I'm now making $0. No clients, no website, no relationships, nothing. And I was auditing the success habits of the most successful people in the world, the people I aspire to do things like. And in the process, I ended up asking myself one question. I was like, Rob, what will help you accomplish your goals faster? Positivity or negativity? The answer is positivity, of course, because negativity is going to slow you down and take you further away from where you want to go. Because of that, I saw this from a binary lens, a 1 or a 0. And negativity was a 0 in my life. I'm all in on my dreams and living my best life. Therefore, positivity serves me and negativity does not. Positivity is a 1, negativity is a 0. Boom. Negativity is out of my life because it makes logical sense. And over the course of the next decade plus, I've been the leader of Team Good Vibes. And positivity and radiating this energy is both who I am and part of my brand. And so often people are like, Rob, are you always like this? Or how are you always so positive? And for me, this is effortless. I don't even have to think about it because it's binary thinking. It's a 1 or a 0. Negativity is a 0 in my life. So when I audit my inputs, I look and I'm like, all right, does this serve me or not? Is this a negative or a positive? It's a negative. Boom, you don't belong in my life. And it is oh so simple. And so many people come from a standpoint or a lens of, I don't want to be wrong, or they live in the world of not instead of what you want to be. They'll tell you that I don't want to be this thing without leaning into the positive version of who they want to be. So one of the ways that I help coach people in thinking about this, and this actually just popped up yesterday on a coaching call, which was the inspiration behind this, was like, listen, let's simplify this. What is going to serve you more? You telling me who you are and what you want to create, aka anchoring in your vision in the world of who you are, or telling me who you are not and what you don't want to be. And the simplest example is this. When I was introduced yesterday on the group coaching call, they did not say, here is Rob Cressy. He is not a trapeze artist. Well, that makes no logical sense. We don't tell each other who we are not. Yet so often in our self-talk, we will say, oh, I don't want to make the wrong decision, or I'm not this person. On the flip side, how about we just logically wire our brains in the way that we think on things that serve us and help us get more of what we want? Imagine just for a second, if the only lens that you trusted in your life was one that served you and aligned to your vision and your powerful truth of who you are. So anytime you had a thought come into your head that didn't serve you, you sit there and you're like, oh, well, I'm about that Team Good Vibes life and doing things aligned to my vision, and that is not that, so it's a 0. Boom, you're out of here. And one of the terms to help better cement this in is called shrinking your dispersion, meaning how far off of center you are and how long you allow that to stay with you. And the simple example is all around being a golfer. A professional golfer, their dispersion, aka their margin of error, when they typically hit a drive, their worst case scenario is maybe a little bit off on the rough onto the tree line. Me, an average golfer, I'm about 250 yards to the right either way. My dispersion is massive. However, as you become a better high performer and dial in your mindset, you start to shrink that dispersion and get you closer to center, to where all of a sudden, how long something stays with you gets shrunk. So as it relates to negative self-talk and stories that do not serve you or align to the vision of where you're going, one of the things that you can do is say, all right, I'm going to shrink my dispersion on how long this negative self-limiting story is going to stay with me. Because for a lot of people, and I know this from experience, a negative story is just going to completely keep looping in your head over and over and over again. I can't do this. I can't do this. I've never done this before. Who am I to blah, 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 blah. And this lasts a day, several days, a week, several weeks, months, years. Some people, this lasts their entire life. Or you can adopt this mindset and say, all right, wait a second. If this is not serving me and I'm about this team good vibes life, it's binary thinking, I want things that serve me and help me create where I want to go, and including in my self-talk. If I notice this, how long am I going to allow this to stay with me? Because that's the key word. I am going to allow. You and I have the decision for, do we trust this story or not? And so often, the story of why we should not do something, the thing that limits us to the negative one, it's hot, it's heavy. We can actually really convince ourselves of it because I've never done this before. I don't know what to do. But guess what? That's not going to help you accomplish your goals any faster. And if anything, it's going to stop you from taking action. So I would encourage you to, step one, you notice this. This is an awareness play. You're like, oh, what's going on here? And the quicker you shrink your dispersion for how long that stays with you, the better it's going to be for you. And now you can start to think about this in all the various areas of your life. And of course, this is very simplistic thinking, and this is something that I have in my creator tool belt. Does this mean that everything that I do in my life is binary thinking? No, but I do have instances in my life, certainly positivity versus negativity, my self-talk and my negative self-talk being two of them, in which binary thinking helps me because it removes the emotion from the process. And so often, our emotion clouds our judgment from taking action. And it is way better to take wrong action than it is to take no action. And one of the quotes that I read every single morning is from Steve Martin. And I read this as part of my boot sequence. And it says, be so good that they can't ignore you. You know what it doesn't say? Be so perfect that they can't ignore you. Because in the process of being good and great, it's about getting in your reps and doing things over and over and over again. And as you can imagine, someone like Steve Martin, as a comedian or an actor, he's sitting there on stage or auditions, getting in the reps, getting in the reps, getting in the reps. But imagine if he sat there and it was like, oh my God, what if people don't like this joke? Or, oh my God, what if I don't get this audition? I'm not going to do it again. But these are the thoughts that we often have in our heads that stop us from doing the things that we want to do to create the vision that we want in our life. So instead, I would encourage you to actually drop the word perfection from your vocabulary and instead come from a place of love as it relates to being wrong, where you can love being wrong because of what it teaches you about yourself in the way that you take action, because it is way better to take imperfect action and to learn along the way to sit there and be caught in analysis by paralysis and actually do nothing. Because one of my favorite quotes also is from Nick Saban, and he says, never waste a failure. And I love that so much. And this goes to my mindset around adversity. And one of my favorite books is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And what I take from it is your ability to turn obstacles and adversity into opportunities. So something that would limit you or most people, and you see that and you're like, this is an opportunity for me to be better and grow. And these simple mindsets are something that as you implement them and live them on a day-by-day basis, they become effortless. And now you start to look around in your life at all the areas where you can adopt this form of thinking. So I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to audit your current self-talk as it relates to, all right, is my self-talk positive or negative? And am I listening to it? How far off of center am I? What is my dispersion? Is this something that's staying with me days, weeks, months? Or is this something where you're like, boom, I'm quick, I'm getting it out. This is binary thinking. You can hit me up on social media at Rob Cressy. And if you're about this life and you want to take your mindset and your personal growth to the next level, because so many of us, we're prolific at business, but so many people haven't invested in themselves, in the personal growth of who they are. I'm a champion for you and would love to help you along on your journey. Drop me an email, rob@robcressy.com, or hit me up on all social media platforms at Rob Cressy. Let's find time to jump on a call and build a roadmap for creating the ideal version of yourself.